is the good word, friends. Tip of the cap to you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to episode 23 of The World is on Fire and Why Are We Here? Elon, beam me up. Is the meteor here yet? Because I'm trying to GTFO and perhaps recolonize on literal Mars. Honestly, it would probably be better that way. Let's be honest. Everything is stupid. The world is on fire. And the name of this episode is Everything You See Has Been Paid For, because everything's dumb, upside down and backwards, and people are just ostriching through life with their head literally under their grundle and back up their balloon knot. All they see is brown, and I don't know what is occurring out here. If anybody else just wants to let me know, that would be great. I love how it took about 33 seconds in the Instagram chat for somebody to drop a Feta bean reference. Look, do you feel comfortable living on this planet knowing that John Fetterbeef is voting on bills and laws and things? Because I don't know about you, but kind of seems suspicious. Kind of doesn't seem too good there, Jim. So, like I said, Elon, Starlink me up because I'm trying to skedaddle. Just kidding. Not suicidal. Just saying, don't have any Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So back off. But everything is definitely a fake garbage planet. Everything's stupid. And I wanted to just tickle your bag for a little bit about just the latest dumb things of actual Earth. So again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Today's episode is sponsored by literally no one. It's sponsored by BobbySauce.com. If you appreciate the channel, if you like what you see here, if it makes you laugh, if it tickles your bag, go to BobbySauce.com, show some love, grab a t-shirt. This is my Controlled Op t-shirt I'm currently wearing right now in the maroon, as it were. So go to BobbySauce.com, crank my bag, and if you don't want to do that, at the very least, go to BobbySauceShow.com and leave a review. I hate everything. One thing that I wanted to chat about today is how does everybody realize that Slosif Byron Weekend at Bernie's why are you showering with your daughter is basically sending us to war and stuff? I'm just curious. You know what I mean? I'm sometimes I wonder if people are residing here on the spinning blue bob or in the firmament or whatever you want to believe. I'm just saying it's getting kind of sketch magetch out here, Jim. It's kind of interesting because a year ago the ghost of Slow Byron, disconnected earlobe, connected earlobe, nobody knows, was like, if we send tanks to the Ukraine, then we're basically going to war. And then 1 year later, he's like, listen, Corn Pop, we're going to war. As we're sending all these tanks over there. And what I just wish that more people would realize is that in the same way that a detective solves a crime, they have to look at the motive. What is the motive of the crime? And people ask me this question often where they're just like, why? Who are they? And what are they doing? And it's just like, they are the shadowy group of probably 50 to 100 people, or maybe 20 to 30 families that run the entire world from the top down. They benefit and feed probably off of the blood of the innocent and perhaps a couple of children, if we're being honest. But really, all they want is two things: money and power. It's very simple: money and power. And if you really look at it at the top of the pyramid, as it were, pun intended, controlled op. I'm controlled op. He works for them. He works for Putin. Is that the only thing that they want is power. And money in and of itself is power, right? If you pay a certain amount of money, you could have a person come into your house and clean the floor and wipe up and perhaps and scrub your brown eye and make you a sandwich or a series of sandwiches or a spread of Impossible Burgers or whatever cranks your bag. So money is the power, and the power is following the money. So it's just like if you were part of some nefarious lizard family that's been in power for 1,000 some odd years, and your grandson was a P3DO or whatever, and he was just like taking creepy pictures with Jizz Lane and some teenage girl, you know, you would probably seek more power. That'd be pretty much the only thing that you were interested in because you're a dirt merchant garbage person. But I think that the one thing that's so important for everybody to remember, aside from the fact that, you know, the world is generally full of good people and love and all of that, is that there's a lot of demons lurking about. And it has become so clear and obvious to me that there are just so many demons running amok that I just don't understand how your basic everyday person can't connect the dots on like the very simplest and most basic of things. And it's like, the most important story in, honestly, the entire planet came out earlier this week from James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, where they basically talked to like some upside down soy person that was like, why? Oh, and he got on his knees and slapped the floor and slapped the iPad and just like squirmed and squealed like a little piglet. And he basically said that the world's most trustworthy gang of demons, of monetary power demons, were basically trying to create new variations of the aforementioned mysterious poison cloud, and then make their own magic potion to solve the mysterious poison cloud. And it's like, when you want to understand the breadth of how bad and evil just the whole world is simultaneously, it would be cool if everybody realized, like, yo, they stopped the entire world from operating, you know, and all these people suffered. And I know that everybody, you know, has a tough time looking 5 minutes in the past, but it's just like, in countries like Australia, for example, have you ever been to Australia? Shut your mouth, bloke. I'm at a hotel. It's just got bars around it and I'm eating slop. It's for the good of everybody else. In Australia, if you were not in the country when the mysterious air poison suddenly started to whatever, they're just like, you can't come back. So you got your dog at home, and the dog's like 100 years old now. It's a year and a half later. Your business, everything. It's like, do people not realize the degree of depravity and demonry that went on in the last 2 years? It's like, is everybody tuned in? And they're like, get him, Fetter Beef, you represent us. And he's like, good night. Like, people are out here cheering for their own demise. It's so sad. I just can't understand how people don't see like what is occurring. But what is important to me in this particular broadcast and this particular message is not to explain all of the injustices, as it were, and all of the demonry that's been going on, but rather to just talk about kind of like the most basic of things, which is, it would be really cool if everybody just stopped believing what these people are telling us, because they're lying about basically every single imaginable thing. It's very simple. So, you know, I watched a movie last night about this true story of a human driving down the street, stuck in trafficking operation that went on in South Africa in the 90s. And it was this awesome movie that was based on true events, and it just shows the level of depravity and demonry that's carried out by these dirt merchant demons that are at the top of the economic and power food chain. And it just is like it is a reminder. At the end of the movie, they said that 300,000 to 500,000 people go missing in the United States every year, and more than half of them are children, and less than 1% of them are ever found. Ever found. And it's like, yo, these people are like literally hell-bent on your destruction, and people are out here, don't like, I get the joke of it all, but people are out here like, is Damar Hamlin a clone? And it's like, no. I mean, maybe, but no. I'm just saying, probably not, but maybe, but like literally no. And it just, it surprises me that people are squandering so much of their precious time just being like, is he a clone? It's like, yo, you're losing the plot. But anyways, so last night after this movie, I click it off for a second and my TV was stuck on CBS, and they were showing a preview of this new show of this show called, like, I don't even know, who even cares? Doesn't even matter. On HBO, of these guys arguing, and there was like the crazy guy with the long beard and the scrumbly, scraggly facial hair, and then like the clean-cut jabroni guy, and they were arguing, and he's like, "You're crazy, bro. What do you think, 9/11 was an inside job and everyone in the government is a bunch of demons?" And he's like, "They are!" And it's just like, that's how you know that it's right. It's like, if every single thing that these people tell you is a lie, the vast majority of the time, the things that they say are crazy are the things that are in fact true. And I just find it so interesting how they've showed their cards so clearly about how the level of depravity and demonry that they're willing to continue to propagate. Because it's like, can we all please understand that of every single person that you get a unique thought from, okay, think about the amount of individual, non-influenced thoughts that enter your brain in a given day, because it has to come straight from the horse's mouth, right? It's not, oh, I heard on this, I heard from here. I'm talking directly from the person. Think about in your daily life, how many of those sources of information are not filtered through an additional medium? And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Every single thing that you see on your television, I'm not talking about some things you see, I'm talking about every single thing that you see on television is spoken to you by an employee. Every person on every news show, including Tucker Carlson, who I love, and I believe that he is probably the most clear and transparent and the most outside of it of anybody. But aside from him specifically, and I'm sure there's others that are at varying degrees of it, these are all employees. Every single person and every single supposedly unique thought that you see on television has been filtered through a secondary medium that's determined whether or not it's acceptable for the people to consume it. Okay? Every book that you've read that's not self-published, and even books that are published on outlets like Amazon or whatever else, these publishing houses, again, have to approve whether or not they'll invest money into these books. So unless you're self-publishing a book, there's really only one place where there's this unfiltered look into somebody's true thoughts. And really the only remaining place where you can hear it directly from the horse's mouth, other than in person, in real life, is the internet, right? And then on the internet, there are essentially two factions of information that come from either side. Absolutely zero information coming from the liberal, leftist, pro-big government, pro-Putin, take off your underpants and send him to Zelensky because he's hungry. You know what I mean? His wife is so beautiful, she's in front of a tank. Is never suppressed. In fact, it's artificially risen in fake value. So it's clear as day, based on what they allow you to see and what they push to you, what they want you to believe. So anything that they make out to be crazy, anything that they suppress, is often the closest thing to the truth. So it's like basically the only place that you can get an unfiltered, uncompromised view of somebody's actual real thoughts at a higher scale is here on these things. Isn't that so interesting? So it's like, And I get it. People on the radio and people on certain television shows are not completely bought and paid for. But there's a filtration level that their information has to be passed through in order for it to reach you. Whereas on this particular medium, I can just boop and that's it. There's no one that buys and pays for anything that's said on here. I'm not under any type of contract, and I'm not the only person that's like that. But isn't it sad that after all of this time, and all of these centuries, thousands of whatever of years of human existence, that it's like you can barely trust 97% of all the information that your average person consumes. And then aside from that, we're seeing this growing cohort of the individual creator. And I don't know anybody that's been on TikTok lately, but there's this girl named Alex Earl, who's like this like young, attractive, like pretty wealthy chick that lives in Miami, who's had this meteoric rise to fame on TikTok in the last couple of months. And this girl is getting more views on her videos than Kim Kardashian and a variety of other supposedly celebrities. And even though the world is so bad and upside down and stupid, it does give me a little bit of hope, not just her, but the fact that all of these accounts, the ones that are supposedly lying and conspiracy and all of the rest, the truth is actually breaking through. And it's so interesting to see. And because of that, you can also tell how much they're ramping up the other side of things, because they're recognizing how significant it is that the message is actually breaking through despite all of their efforts to suppress it. And it's like all of these things that they're serving you is this constant psyop where almost every single piece of information that you see on a daily basis, almost every single piece of information that's served to your average person is filtered and a lie. Or in between that message is some other sales pitch. You know, and I'm not even trying to single out Tucker, but he's one of the only people that I actually watch on TV. You watch Tucker on TV, and in between Tucker, look, I understand advertising. Don't get me wrong. It's not to say that advertising is bad. That's what's necessary in order to keep these media companies afloat. But it's like I can't tell you how many times I've seen a commercial for Natural Nature or whatever it's called on Tucker, where they're like the red and green gummies, or I see what's his face. Sebastian Gorka talking about Relief Factor. I'm Sebastian Gorka, Relief Factor. I eat Relief Factor every day. It's like, yo, holy Christmas. He really wants you to have some relief. You know what I mean? It's so funny. Or you have Larry Elder Larry Elder's on like a rowboat and he's like, I use Relief Factor every day. I'm not trying to throw any shade on them. It's just funny. It's just funny. So it's like, okay, these are these people who we trust, we know, we like, that still secure the bag at some degree, right? He's like, Relief Factor, you know? So it's just funny. So it just leads me to believe that, it's like the most trusted independent thought creator out there is in a lot of ways trending towards the low tier, social media creator in their crib. Isn't that so interesting? Where it's like, once you get to some point, you start to you get a little bit squirrely, And then like the day that you see me being like, I'm so like Relief Factor, like I'm on a kayak or something, and I'm like, I've been eating Relief Factor and Call of Nature gummies every day. That's the day you should probably stop paying attention to what I have to say. I'm just saying. Oh man. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the gummies or whatever. I've seen the commercial 85,000 times. Or you have Mike Lindell come on and he's just like, it's the best, most comfortable slipper you've ever slippered in the history of slippers, He's like, it's made at the mouth of the Nile River by the ancient Sumerians. He's like, buy it today, 700% off. And I love like Mike Lindell, but it's just funny. And the more that you go, the more that you see the truth of all this stuff, the more you just feel like you're in an episode of Idiocracy. You're in this perpetual Idiocracy episode where it's like almost every single thing that you see is just so manipulated and messed up. And that's why I titled this particular episode, Everything You See Has Been Paid For, because it's like, you really can't trust really just about it. Yeah, balance of nature. You really can't trust just about anything. Which kind of leads me into my next point. And I want to take some questions and I want to interact with you guys. I didn't want to do all like monologue and going nuts today. I wanted to interact with the comments and kind of talk about some things that you want to talk about. But I just want to weave you a very short analysis of what I think is important to remember. Okay, so prepare yourself because I'm just going to do a little thing here. So here we go. I believe that it is highly probable that advanced human civilization or some human variation existed well before the last time that we think human beings actually walked the earth. I think it's highly probable that if you look at things like quantum physics and things like wormholes and a variety of other things, you could possibly potentially believe that there is, in theory, no beginning to time and essentially no end. It's like this perpetual cycle. It's like the Fibonacci sequence, or it's like, or like the Fibonacci sequence, like an ending, or there's this other, it's a fractal. I forget what it is, but it's this fractal that no matter how much you zoom into it, it continues to be a repetitive pattern of itself. So I think that it's highly probable that there was some other human/extraterrestrial variation hybrid, an advanced society of human people that lived on the earth far before any of us probably even think. And I think there's a number of artifacts to suggest that intelligent human life existed as early as even 50,000 years ago. And I believe that the current span of of higher intelligence human beings is less than 10,000 years old. You think about how we're in 2023 AD right now, and then there was however many thousand years BC, and then they were like, oh, they were hunter-gatherers. Yet there's these pyramids that they're finding in Mexico that have liquid mercury inside them. I think that the most probable understanding of what the reality is that everybody is an alien, really, in theory, and there's probably an infinite amount of galaxies that extend out in every which way. It's probably infinite. It's like the Fibonacci sequence. It's like that never-ending fractal. And I think that understanding reality is a lot like understanding Schrodinger's cat. I would encourage everybody that's never heard of Schrodinger's cat to look that up. It's just like, is the cat alive or dead? The cat is neither until you observe it, right? So it's like, I would wager that there was intelligent life that existed on Earth that was from some other planet. Life was likely seeded here a really, really, really long time ago. Highly advanced human civilization or alien hybrid civilization existed far beyond what we believe. It was likely wiped out in a huge cataclysmic flood type event that was likely caused by the ancient Sumerians and or some variation of them. There were highly likely giants and giants that lived among us, aka the Watchers, or these people that essentially came down from the sky with highly advanced technology. I would wager that the Ark is actually a real story, and a variety of underground caves actually exist all around the world, and there's a variety of different ancient sites that are yet to be discovered. I believe that the North Pole actually switched locations at one point in time. I think that it's completely and totally inconceivable to think that ancient peoples 5,000 or whatever some odd years ago could have possibly erected 100-ton statues and carved them out of pure rock and stacked them to such a degree that they could exist thousands upon thousands of years later, perfectly aligned with celestial events at specific times of the year that are significant to this day, that they could have highly advanced societies that had things like well water, irrigation systems, hunter-gatherer type stuff where they would grow crops, which we didn't think happened until much later on. I think that it's highly probable that every single one of these sites was aligned at specific points around the globe to align with the energetic forces that are beneath the ground on those specific points. I believe that a lot of the pyramids were nothing more than power stations or power plants to charge some type of technology that we don't even understand to this day. I think that wormholes are real. Traveling in between galaxies is highly probable and real. I believe that time travel is also in fact real and has been proven to be possible, although how you move people through those things, I don't know. I believe that a lot of the stuff in our modern reality that we don't understand is highly correlated to things like magnetics and sound, specifically vibrations, and using vibrations and sound to move things and pick things up. I think that it's highly probable that we are completely and totally clairvoyant and can communicate using just our mind. I believe that the unlocked like amino acids or whatever it is in your body that we haven't yet figured out how to unlock will allow us to do things like lift things with our mind, communicate to each other telepathically, and unlock a variety of other ancient capacities that we don't understand. I believe that the entire world leading up until this point, our observable reality, has been modified and manipulated via a variety of different nefarious actors over the course of hundreds of thousands of years. A lot of the religious texts are different variations and interpretations of the exact same thing, which is that the purpose of life is love. The purpose of life is to love and grow and evolve. That God, the all-seeing entity, whatever, that has created this life around us, is probably likely a similar iteration of the exact same thing through all of these religions, and they are likely all telling the exact same story through some manipulated tale that's been twisted and turned and manipulated to benefit one sect via another sect over thousands, tens of thousands, if not maybe even hundreds of thousands of years. I think that God, or what we are using the three-letter word and or the sound God is likely referring to, is the interconnected web of all living things. And I think that everybody's understanding of this reality is probably a combination of a couple different things, where two things can be true at the same time. Whereas you can believe in God, you can believe in Allah, you can believe in Buddha, you can believe in any other variety of any of these entities, but essentially the message is the same, which is love, care for one another, be a good person, output good energy into the world, don't be an evil demon. I believe in yin and yang. I believe in duality, the concept of dark and light, and that for every amount of good, there is an equal amount of darkness, and the constant evolution and process by which all human beings are moving through this particular theoretical objective reality that we're in right now is just the current iteration of whatever meat suit transportation device we're currently residing in. I believe it's highly probable that every single one of us is an individual soul. The soul moves from person to person, body to body, thing to thing. You were perhaps once a tree, a bird, an eagle, perhaps another human. The relationships in your life are the interconnected souls, and how you've interacted with one another and how you click with a person instantly is because you had some relationship in the past. Perhaps they were your dog and you were their owner, or you were their sister and brother, or husband and wife, or cousin and uncle, or whatever, through some point in your journey. I believe that it's highly probable that each individual soul and or light being was created for the purpose of, like moss, helping all of the other souls and or light beings around them grow, evolve, and thrive. Your journey in this particular observable reality, this particular meat suit that you're in right now, the purpose for you to be in this body at this time interacting with these other souls is for you to evolve your soul and figure out how to make a better iteration of it going forward, because the world is constantly expanding, we're constantly evolving and grow. The purpose of life is to evolve. Now, aside from all of those things, I think that eventually you perhaps get to a point where your soul evolves to such a degree that you have the capacity to level up, to go to another level where your human form is not maximizing the capacity of your soul's of your soul's true capabilities. And at this point, you essentially rise to what I would consider to be the level of a, I guess you could say, like an angel, or let's call it a spirit guide. A spirit guide would be a person that is perhaps in between meat suit iterations and or has evolved past the human existence being the capacity of what they're able to do, and now they can help other people by guiding them. That would be your clairvoyance. That would be the people that look over you. That would be the strange positions that you happen to find yourself in, where you get lucky and don't get hit by that car or fall off that bike or go to that place too early or too late, or you miss that plane and the plane crashes, etc. And I think that those guides are there to essentially align with the highest executing souls that are here in the observable reality, and help guide them to then help other people. I think that the video game of life, what we're trying to live through right now, and whatever this thing is that we're living through, is a constant and very persistent test and illusion that's trying to teach us how to be the best version of ourselves. And that constantly, as we move through here, what we have to do is figure out how to navigate all of these pitfalls and shortfalls of all of these demons lurking about, and then B, help broadcast that message to help as many other people around us benefit as well. The highest and best thing that we can do with our life is be the greatest version of ourselves. Look introspectively at what we're giving out to the world, how we're leaving the world, if we're leaving it a better place than before. And essentially navigate all of these pockets of darkness that are put here by all of these other demons that have not yet found their way or how to be a beneficial upside to society. They're on the flip side of it. I think that the vast majority of what we see on a daily basis is lied to because people are greedy, primarily interested in money and power. The vast majority of things that we see on a daily basis are complete lies because people have reached some threshold of which they were willing to sell people out for. And what we are witnessing is the greatest test of any and all time. And I would wager that if you are alive, healthy, obviously you're alive if you're watching this, or maybe you're not. If you're alive, healthy, and even found your way to this piece of content, essentially what the universe, as it were, is telling you, because you probably have a roof over your head. I doubt anybody's watching this as a bumblebee tuna, like in a tent somewhere in LA on Skid Row in a pile of urine. That it's basically saying, hey, you have unlocked all of these previous levels. You've learned everything that's absolutely necessary to elevate beyond that level. Now, what can you do to help as many people as possible aside from that? Could you be a thought leader? Because ultimately, I think that the distribution of thought at a high level is probably the most influential thing that we could leave on the world. It's not about telling people what to think. It's about teaching people how to think. And the more of us that are out there being like, yo, do you see this? Yo, and finding different ways to navigate the truth into an otherwise potentially open mind is in theory our duty in this particular iteration of this meat suit phase to the world around us. And I think that religion, praying, doing good, following biblical texts, or following some guide of generations before you is for the most part a very positive thing, and generally promotes a good message and good acting human beings that I am in support of. And I think that throughout this game that we're in, what we need to remember is this is all just a ride. It's just a game. The vast majority of things that we've heard are fake and not true, lied to us intentionally to manipulate us into behaving a certain type of way. And that the only thing that you can really trust is your own intuition and gut instincts. And if more of us did that and focused on being the highest and best operating version of ourselves and didn't fear the unknown, didn't fear the demons, but instead leaned into enjoying for the most part and spreading the good word of knowledge to as many people as possible, I think we have a better world. And I think ultimately the demons can't get to us. Because every day I see more and more things happening that lead me to believe that the demons are firmly in control. But when you go out into reality and you interact with people, you realize that they're just not. There's so many good people out there. It's only when you look at it through this very dictated or very focused lens of demonry that you start to see it. And I put a couple of notes down here about what's going on in the crane and how we have just like these evil, pudgy, sad inside, soy boy, impossible burger, coursing through their veins demons, sending our young men to war, to fight over there, to the benefit of the military-industrial complex, the munitions companies, the intelligence agencies, and all the rest. And these people are demons. They're dirt merchants. And the only thing that we can do to stop them is be the highest and best version of ourselves and broadcast that message as long and far as we possibly can. But, you know, us sending these tanks over there, it's like, who does this benefit? It enriches the military-industrial complex and all of the defense contractors that are producing all these, producing all these tanks, all these munitions and all these weapons and such. And the crane and Prezi T-shirt and Putin, neither of them can budge. And we're over there fueling the fire intentionally to enrich all these people. And all these old men that are getting all these young men into these battles, they're demons. They're demons. And there's so much demonry going on in the world that it's tragic. So it's like, since we can't affect that specific thing, the best that we can do is try to spread, at the very least, knowledge of the lowest hanging fruit of things and try to open people's eyes to what's really going on. And teach them that, you know, it's highly probable that a lot of the stories about our past have been changed and modified to fit a specific narrative. A lot of the organized religions, sects, whatever, have used this unprovable theory to turn people in their direction. And I think that it's been manipulated over time through each variety of organized religious entity. And though you may choose to participate in one of these groups or these whatever, or believe one is right or the other one is not right, I'm not here to convince you otherwise. But I would say that we have to remember that every piece of information has been translated by another person that is in a lot of ways seeking to change the way that you think and behave. And if without trying to unlock and solve the history of the world, if we see all of these fakeries and fakeness happening around us right now, could you even imagine what's on the other side of that, multiplied over hundreds and hundreds of years of time, translations, and so forth? And I've been watching a lot of Ancient Aliens lately, which I don't care what you think about Ancient Aliens, but it points you in the direction of certain things that are up for you to determine. And one of the things that it talked about, which I found very interesting, was it talked about the book of Enoch and how it was taken out of your modern Bibles or whatever. And I'm not here to debate Bible stuff with anybody. That's not my purpose here. But the point is that if there's a book that was in this thing and it was taken out, who took it out? You know what I mean? So again, it's not for me to say, like, oh, I believe this version, but not that version. Oh, there's 70,000 different variations of it. And then there was also books that were burned. And then you have all this. But if you look at it from an observable outside, where if you were to just be dropped into reality right now and look around you, you know, what are the things that are obviously true? The things that we see on a daily basis, the vast majority of information sources that we get are doctored and fake and controlled by people whose interests are not typically aligned with ours. We are likely having our excellence suppressed to a massive degree. The water that we drink, the food that we eat, the vast majority of us know absolutely nothing about it, where it comes from, what goes into it. People are getting sicknesses all over the place. And I'm not just talking about the mysterious air sickness. I'm talking about every other variety of sickness, from diabetes to all of these others. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on. So it's like, to me, the best thing that we could understand, perhaps, is that you need to be in control of the way that you think, how you navigate this particular reality or whatever you think it is. Don't listen to anybody, including me, and just follow your gut and your instinct, and you'll likely contribute to a better world. All of this crazy stuff, I wrote a bunch of notes of different things I was going to talk about, and even though I figured I would go on a rip anyhow, I wrote all this stuff down, and I'm like, this stuff, it doesn't even really matter. It matters, but it doesn't. You know, I wrote down about how, about the situation in Memphis, but I've already made a variety of different videos about that, talking about that, and how if somebody resists, resists lawful orders, that bad things happen, not justifying it, not giving them a pass. Obviously, they're dirt merchants, and they're going to serve their time because of it. But there's a variety of things on here that I just think are secondary to the true big message, which is what I've been talking about, which is like, if we could just take a step back from all the demonry for a minute and realize that, like, yep, they're coming for your jugular. Yep, they're coming for your kids. Yep, they're coming to poison you. Yep, they don't care about your health. They don't care about your wellness, your well-being, your mental health. They don't care anything about you. Their only objective is to destroy you at every corner and usurp as much power as possible. As long as we understand that overarching truth, it makes it easier to navigate this ride. And I just hope that everybody remembers that. I saw somebody talk about the NYC migrants are complaining about where they get put up. I saw a headline that said migrants are still not leaving an NYC hotel, demanding free stays at vacant luxury apartments. It just goes to show how much clownery is occurring out in the world. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody that bought the badges on Instagram. I really appreciate that. Big thanks, Dawn Maureen, Christy, PIWO, Baptized, Jen Lisa 80, Jim Jeffrey 69, and SPRDLV. Thank you for the badges on Instagram. I want to just interact with you guys. I want to read some of the comments, interact, answer your questions, whatever, and get into it. Somebody on Instagram says you can't put a face on they. It's not an individual person. I've said it 5,000 times in a variety of different iterations, which is that it is the families that run the world. It's the international banking cartels. It's the people that control all of the power and influence around the world. I can't put a face on they because they is a large group of different entities and different families that run the world. You can go online and look them up. There's a variety of them out there. But to think that these people, the people with the vast majority of money and power and control that run these NGOs and donate to all of these people, you know who I'm talking about, to think that those people are not firmly in control or at least somewhat in control of what's going on in this world would be insane. I did a video a while back about the Queen, when the Queen passed away, and I said that I traced her family lineage back on Wikipedia as far as I could go, and her family has been royalty since for like over I think it was like 1,600 years, some astronomical. It's like, imagine if you had a family member 1,600 years ago that had like a golden amulet. Imagine how rich you would be now, how much power you would have if the only thing you ever had to think about was be rich, you know, how much power that would be. So yeah, there's a lot of people that run the world, and to think that all of this stuff is by accident or by design, to me is is by accident or not by design is almost as crazy as believing that we just are like we're just grown evolved amoebas that just showed up on this mysterious blue spinning ball. I think it's highly probable that there's a grand design to life as we know it. God, whatever you want to call it, certainly I think is real. But I think with equivalent reality is the group of people that run and dictate how the world runs. There's no coincidences, and a lot of these things are just too outlandish for me to leave up to happenstance or by accident. It's like, oh, they want to cut off your kid's Pen 15. Like, why would they? You know what I mean? Why would they do that? Why would that possibly? How would that have made its way to the mainstream media unless there was an angle to that? Unless there was a benefit to that? Unless there was a demon that was seeking to benefit from that? Rick on Facebook says America is a corporation, not a free country. Well, whether you want to say America is a corporation or not, I mean, it's very interesting. It's very interesting language that you're choosing. America is a corporation in the sense that it has a balance sheet, yes. But as far as a free country is concerned, if America is not a free country, then there is no free country. It's about the freest country that there is. I think that our Constitution and our Bill of Rights is the most independent and freedom securing document that's ever existed in the history of human existence. So I think we are pretty free. I don't know about just being a corporation purely and simply, because I don't think that we'd be able to say anything if we were just purely just a corporation. Karen on YouTube says, to me, the Bible is a blueprint of how to live in society. Thank you for the super chat on YouTube, Karen. Thank you so much. Hey, maybe the Bible is a blueprint to live in society. There's a lot of things that I've seen in the Bible that are very good, that are good things, good lessons for your average human person to espouse and follow. I certainly don't think it's bad in that respect, and I think that it's certainly worth noting and understanding. But there's a lot of things that are in there that may not agree with modern day whatever, that some people will say, what about this? What about? I'm not here to debate the book or whatever version of the book applies to other people. I'm trying to look at it from the 10,000 foot view and give my best understanding of what it all is. But when I look around at all the things around us and all of these stories and all of the ancient artifacts and all of these other things, it just leads me to believe that the official story, the official narrative is not what it seems. People are talking about Big Mike on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, I don't really particularly want to talk about Big Mike, but we're never going to find out one way or the other. I think it's highly probable, but I don't know. And I don't really know that it is worth talking about. It's funny. So I have 106,000 followers on TikTok, and I've been having a couple videos do over 250,000 views in the last couple of days. There's 8 people watching on TikTok right now. 8. Isn't that funny? It's funny because there's no. It's like once you get into something that's deep. I've watched a kid. I've watched people hold a sign up that says, like, I'm not talking until somebody makes me laugh. And people will sit there, like 5,000 people in the room watching at the same time, and no one will make them laugh. And I'm like, is this just a loop? People are like giving them gifts and stuff. There's 10 people watching on TikTok. It's like, oh, don't talk about things that are real. Mid-38 says, the reason it's important is because her man is the Antichrist. I mean, that's a tall order that you're making. I would say that he's just not a good person, but yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. Yeah, the TikSnap algo is hot garb. There's no doubt about that. It's funny actually, if I stop it and restart it again, it'll rejigger it back. So I'll put it back on. I just ended it and I'll start it over for their sake. I should hold up a sign that's like, oh, not gonna talk until somebody cute comes in, 18 plus. I've seen that stuff on there like crazy. SPR DLV says, making videos are not my thing, but I do want to get in the game of spreading awareness. So there's a creator on Instagram by the name of Amir Odom, and he writes really good infographics and text squares. Well written, well thought out, and he makes videos, but he makes the text squares go a lot further, I think, than his videos do. So write some stuff. Use your voice, use whatever makes sense to you. There's no one way to get the word out. So if videos are not your thing, I think there's a variety of other ways to do it. Infographics and so forth. There's a guy that I met at a Turning Point event that had a Instagram channel called Unwoke Narrative, and I think he changed the name of it to something else now, Upward News or something like that. And I never saw his face. I've never seen a video of him, but he's got hundreds of thousands of followers. Amir Odom. And his stuff is awesome. The stuff that he writes is great. So you don't need to make videos to spread the word. I need that. I need that new NVIDIA AI or whatever that makes it look like your eyes are eye contact with that kid. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 lenses up right now, and I can't make eye contact with all of them. I tend to interact with Instagram the most, just because that's kind of home base for me. But I am looking at every lens, and I am reading the comments from every person. What got you started on waking people up? Alex Jones in 2008 was when I first discovered Jones and discovered wearechange.org with Luke Rudkowski through the Loose Change documentary. And I was like, none of this stuff is what it seems. And I just wanted to try to share the knowledge to people and do the best that I could to, move the message along. I never really felt like I would be able to do that. So I kind of just leaned into business dealings and such. But I started making videos about politics in 2020, and I had one that went viral, and it got 60,000 views. I picked up a few thousand followers overnight, and I was like, all right, if the marketplace has spoken, the marketplace has spoken. So I will do what the market has suggested, and I'll make another video. And I kept making videos, and the rest is kind of history. For anybody that's on TikTok, throw me some likes. Hit the tap the button. Throw me a couple likes. Get the thing popping. Loose Change, that's where I started. Yes, agreed. For anybody that's watching on TikTok, I'm just taking comments, reading the comments, interacting with the people. I just ranted for 45 minutes. A saltfish said, should I stop asking, are you okay, bro? I don't know what that means. Thank you on TikTok. There we go. TikTok is back. Got 120 people watching on TikTok now. Appreciate that. 2008 OG conspiracy theorist. Yes, that's exactly right. What's up, people on TikTok? I'm from Canada trying to get myself in Florida. I agree. Florida is clean. It's a great place to be. Love it. For those that don't know, every time I go live like this, if you ever see me in this setup with the headphones on, every one of these videos will appear on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, Getter, Twitch, and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts, and everywhere that podcasts are consumed. Somebody on TikTok said, wow, cool, this is great. Do you believe in the gospel? Honest question. I don't know what you mean by believe in the gospel. I mean, there's a variety of different books, and I think I've already detailed that and what I think about that. And I think that there's a lot of things that are certainly correct. Somebody asked on TikTok, am I married? No, I'm not married. Dana said on Facebook, I thought TikTok was bad. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not good, but distribution of the message is distribution of the message. And sometimes that's what you got to do to follow, to make the most impact. Am I a believer? Am I a believer of what? Do I believe in God? Yeah. Do I believe in a higher power? Certainly. And I think that if you go back and watch the full extent of this live, you'll get a better idea of what I really believe. Big Mike will run in 2024. I don't think so. I think that that's an ace in the hole. I honestly don't think that she will, but maybe. Somebody said on TikTok, did I ever serve? You mean serve in the military? No. Somebody said it's all over the news she's going to run. Yeah, it's also all over the news that the mysterious potion, cures everything that ails you. So I don't believe anything that's on the news. Daniel said marriage is a big potential trap to take your stuff. That's one way of looking at it. Proud of you. Been watching you since the beginning. Thank you so much. And I'm right on about 99% of the time. That's cool. I hope to get that to 99.9 sometime soon. Somebody said, I hope you're right. She isn't going to run. She's just a gaslight artist. She's better than Krusty Kamala. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, but I don't think she's going to run. But maybe she might. I don't think so, though. Darcy said, I miss your funny videos. I mean, they're there. I post them every day. So don't miss them too much because they're there. We got about 300 people watching right now. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're on TikTok, hit the like thing. If you're on Instagram, make sure you follow me. Hit this button right here if you're on Instagram and follow the channel, if you wouldn't mind. Juan said, would you vote Donnie in 2024? Depends. If he got the nomination, I probably would. If he got the nomination, I guess I would. I'm personally pro DeSanta Claus at this moment, but I guess time will tell. Let the best man win. I mean, I think DeSanta Claus has got a little bit of a better touch on what's going on in the world, but, you know, it remains to be seen. We will find out who gets the nom. If I had to choose, though, I would choose DeSantis right now. Does Big Mike fake the PP to distract for us, or is it real? I don't know. I think just even talking about it is a waste of time. It's like, does Big Mike have a pen 15? Who cares? Let's say he does. She does. All right, cool. Now what? You better hope she doesn't, because if she does and she comes out as a T, we're toast. Then she's going to be the supreme leader of the planet. They're going to be like, she checks all the intersectional boxes. She'll somersault into the nomination at the last second and steal all the thunder. Then she'll be woman, the right color, pen 15, marginalized group, huge traps. You know what I mean? Could bench press 350, could squat her body weight twice. You know, we're toast if that's the case, just in case. People are like, DeSantis is no good. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if you've been to Florida lately, but it's pretty straight here. Just a heads up. It's like everybody's so quick to turn on DeSantis, where it's just like before Donnie started zipping him, he was like, everybody loved him for the most part. And now Donnie like noodles him a little bit and everyone's like, he's bad. It's like, is he? Maybe. But he's got a heck of a way of being bad. You know what I mean? I hear him coming out talking about the juice. I hear him talking about parents' rights. I hear him blocking woke things in schools. I hear him and see him doing lots of good stuff. So if he's a bad globalist, then like tickle my grundle with some globalism, I guess. And I hope somebody takes that out of context and they're like, sauce is controlled op. While I'm wearing the controlled op shirt, they're like, he said it. So, yeah, I guess, but Florida's pretty lit right now. I don't know what to tell you. Meanwhile, Donnie is campaigning with Lindsey Graham Cracker, like this inflated marshmallow man, Warhawk, Prezi sweatshirt demon person. He's like, he's a good politician. It's like, Lindsey Graham Cracker, this guy's a demon. This guy's a late stage demon. Like Lindsey Graham Cracker like sleeps upside down in a cave underneath his house and rubs his military industrial complex like stock certificates. He's like, yes, get the he's like, Prezi sweatshirt. You know what I mean? He's cranking one out to photos of Prezi sweatshirt. He's like, we need to go. You look at this guy's face and you're just like, I don't trust this demon. And he's like always sweaty and fidgety. Like, I don't trust this guy as far as I could roll him down a hill. He's like a demon snowman. He's just a squishy blob of like lies, and he's just like a Warhawk Pygmalion garbage merchant. This guy sucks. He's like, we need to send more to the. He's like, take the food in your refrigerator and send it to the crane. It's like, no, you squishy demon loser. And Donnie's like, he's a great politician. What the hell does that mean? Is he though? Is he though? I'm just saying, I don't know, but I don't know. Donnie like throws me for a loop, and I do find it funny how everybody just like, they get like myoblobditis in their like right eye when you're just like, I kind of like DeSanta Claus. They're like, what? They're just like, Mar-a-Lago, everybody's so lumped. They're just like so... They're like, Donnie. I get it. I liked Donnie. Don't get me wrong. There's 5,000 videos of me talking about all the good things that he's done. I'm not discrediting any of those things, but it's like, this dude's still on that juice right now. This dude's out there with Lindsey Graham cracker. Like, I don't know, bro. He seems a little out of touch with the literal I don't know. So it's just like crank my bag. But I don't know. I kind of would rather a 45-year-old man than a 78-year-old man. Like, you know what I mean? Twist me upside down and park your truck in my balloon knot. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Might be, I don't know. But people are like, no, Donnie. It's just, I don't get that. It's like, it's like this dude's put his foot in his mouth 85 quadrillion times. I'm not saying that they won't come for Santa Claus, but it's like, how are you not going to acknowledge how many people are out there that have this visceral reaction to this guy's existence that are just ready to bamboozle us again? And there's a lot of things that he did in office that were very, very good, but there's a lot of things that he did that were missteps that it's like, why did you not do that? What's with Edward Snowden? Like, why no Julian Assange? Why none of that stuff? You know what I mean? Why did you not hire RFK? Why did you bring in these pharma lobbyists? Like, what's up with all that? Why did you let these swamp people hold positions of authority? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you give a stage to Fauci? Why did you criticize Governor Kemp for opening Georgia? Why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, can we all just take a step back for a minute? I saved 500 billion lives. It's like, did you? I don't know. So it's like, without cranking everybody's bag, you know what I mean? And putting a torpedo in their balloon knot and opening them up to see what's on the inside. Probably a couple of Lindsey Graham crackers are lodged up in there. It's like, could we all just maybe have an honest conversation about maybe how the guy made a couple of mistakes, and like, let's hope that he gets better and doesn't do that. I mean, he's got us on foreign policy. I think he's got that in the bag, no doubt. But how are we going to not acknowledge some bad things that happen? Somebody said, what state are you in? Florida? Where the globalists live, apparently. But again, it's like, I'm so... Somebody on TikTok said, why is this guy so focused on balloon knots? Because the balloon knot is the entrance to the soul. The secret to a man's heart is to put your thumb in his dirt star. Thoughts on Trudeau? Lots of laughs. Trudeau's a demon, psycho, like dirt merchant, the gaslight artist. And my heart breaks for everybody in Canada because you're living under a tyrannical biomedical hellscape with some dirt merchant demon, some demon puppeteer, some demon puppeted by the World Garbonomic Forum, who's taken PJs to Costa Rica, with his diaper off, and then gaslighting you. I got the clap 17 times. It's like, this guy's face is disgusting, and every single word that comes out of his face hole makes me sick. Like, total gaslight artist. You can't move from province to province. He's like, we here in Canada, we believe in our neighbor. No, you don't, demon. These like truckers, these salt of the earth truckers were out there in Ottawa, eating poutine, literal poutine, not poutine. And they're just like, I'm just trying to stand up for my kids. And he's like, turn off their bank account. It's like, you're a dirt merchant. I hate you. Guy's a demon. Pierre, what's his guts is about the only thing Canada's got going for it. Hopefully they tune in sometime soon before they get cranked into a pile of nothingness. Somebody said living in Canada, no one can stand him. Yeah, exactly. Somebody said, can you talk about Tyler the AI? I don't know what that is, although I do think AI is quite possibly one of the greatest threats to mankind, as it were. Somebody said, how do we escape the socialist takeover? Spread the word of the truth. Tell people about it, speak out about it, get involved, participate, be the highest and best version of yourself, and don't get bamboozled, Bill. Somebody said Lindsey Graham cracker. You couldn't find anyone else. I agree. Yeah, exactly. So that's right, Rachel on Facebook. Jesus is the truth. Sure. Where's the socialism in America? Where's the socialism in America? Where's not the socialism in America? There's a variety of different things that we do that are socialism-y. Somebody said poor people love Trump. Okay. What does that even mean? Does that mean that only poor people love Trump? Or does that mean that poor people just realize that this is a person that's giving them the opportunity to create their own luck? How is AI a threat when it has to be supervised by men, created by men? It doesn't. And they have AI that can create other AI now, and it's not necessarily a threat right this second, but people need to understand the severity and the rapid clip that it's increasing in intelligence. A lot of people's jobs are not going to exist, but people are so dumb that they're just like, I deserve $300 an hour to flip a cheeseburger. It's like, no, you don't, Larry. Maybe you should stop squealing about your $15 an hour because you're about to be out of a job to some AI named Jasper that's gonna flip 100,000 burgers faster than you ever could, and you're gonna end up in a dumpster somewhere, shilling for Prezi sweatshirt. Everything Trump did benefited the rich, but only poor people support him. That's a pretty smart, intelligent perspective because nope, plenty of rich people support him and plenty of not rich people support him. And the things that he did benefited the rich. Okay, it benefited everybody. But again, people can't understand that people get rich by helping other people. The vast majority of people that have accumulated a large quantity of wealth are paying the majority of the bills for the rest of us. Being rich is not a thing to be jealous of or mad at. You should aspire to be rich as well. Rich people have just contributed more to more people the vast majority of the time, unless you're talking about a demon like Albert Bourla. Or John Kerry, who flies in on his ketchup torpedo. He married into a ketchup empire. Yeah, but like the vast majority of the time, a rich person, a wealthy person, has earned that wealth by saving capital and reinvesting it strategically and intelligently over time to help the most people purchase products and services that they choose to purchase with their own free will. A rich person is a person to be revered and respected, not to be demonized. It helps the rich. Well, it helps the rich more than it helps the guy that has $43,000 because they have more money. It doesn't help them more. It helps them proportionate to how much they've already helped themselves. But yeah, I guess you could say that it only helps the rich because you don't understand how basic economics and finance go. But yeah, I guess that sounds like something that a poor person would say. So you're kind of boxing yourself in right there, Jim. But all right. Blue states pay for red states. Sick, hot comments on TikTok from the highest tier operators. Blue states pay for red states. That's because the majority of the populations in America are centralized on the coast. Those coasts, those large centralized places, people are typically reliant on the state to solve their problems. So they defer all of their power to the state and to the establishment to solve their problems. If there's a sound problem next door, they call the police. They don't go next door to the neighbor and be like, why is it so loud over here? They don't believe in self-preservation as much because they're more condensed populations. These coastal communities are where the majority of the population lies. The majority of the population is usually easy to manipulate. You can do a lot of things to manipulate those totals and such. So yeah, they tend to vote blue, but they pay for because there's a lot of people that may have a house in that location or be in that location, but also have properties in other areas. So to say the blue pays for the red, that's not how it works, jabroni. But all right, yeah, I guess you could live like that. Red states pay for blue states because blue states are broke. Also incorrect. It's like you guys are like, it's like you're looking at this in two, like if you divide the country into 50 pieces, you could lie with any number of statistics. You could say, oh, the blue cities are where all the crime is at. It's like, that's such a pointless exercise. Somebody who's sad inside and hurting inside keeps bringing up Donnie in the chat on TikSnap. So it's just like, literally, the meatloaf is ready, but I guess let's bring it there. What do you think about it? It's like, I'm sad. Trump only helps rich people, says the person who isn't highly probable. Highly probable they're just like, oh, can I afford this Netflix subscription? I want to watch Cuties 5 times. But yeah, I guess if that's how you want to live life, then sure. Somebody on YouTube said, I think we're arguing with AI bots set to the dumb setting. Highly probable. I definitely believe that. Love the fire log in the background for ambiance. True that. Got to keep it real. Keep it 100. You should talk to a nose hair trimmer about a sponsorship. Sick burn from a profile photoless person. Love that. Like, where in Taiwan is your bot computer located? Like, how much are you hurting inside? But tell me you're sad without telling me you're sad. Thoughts on depopulation? What's happening with that? I think it's more than clear and obvious that that's what they want. My wager, if you want me to just like somersault into your balloon knot real quick, I think that they destroyed the Georgia Guidestones on their own because the message was so clear and obvious that they just clipped it out themselves because it was right there in plain sight. The Depop strategy is more than obvious. Eat the bugs, sit in the pod, don't lift weights, don't be healthy, don't eat the meat, eat the bugs. You know, sit at home in a pit of despair. The air is poison. Don't go home for Christmas. I mean, you know, Prezi sweatshirt, the crane. I mean, what do you think they're doing? Somebody asks me if I got the juice on TikSnap. Yes. Thrice. You don't open the border for millions and then clap the food supply. True that. What up, outrage teen? Somebody on TikSnap said, let's go live. Let's not. There's a lot of people here that are not on the talk. So I'm not going to go live with you there and then cut all those people out, but okay. Thoughts on CBDCs and if you think we will be forced into it? Yes, I think they're bad, and I think that is certainly the direction that they're trying to go if we don't let them. Somebody said you're kidding about the juice, right? If you even have to ask that question at this point, please dive into my content. I think you'll be able to figure it out on your own. Somebody said crudité, crudité, crudité. I want to offer you a spot on band.video. Okay, yeah, hit me up, woke@bobbysauce.com. Send me an email. Woke@bobbysauce.com. WOKE@bobbysauce.com. Woke. Send me an email. Send me a digital facsimile. Somebody said Eagles or Chief. Eagles! Probably the Chiefs, if we're being honest, but. Somebody said thoughts on the black cube of Saturn. I don't know what that is. Sounds interesting. I love this stuff. I just find such weird, interesting things. Chiefs. Gypsy life doesn't seem so bad now that I think about it. Somebody said on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, all right. How do you deal with people who are still asleep? You try to show them the light. I mean, there's always going to be people that don't get it, and I think that that's kind of it's almost like if you were in really good shape, like if you were ripped, shredded, and you saw somebody that was morbidly obese, you would just be like, I want to help this person. And some people don't want your help and some people do. And I think that what you got to do is figure out how to best utilize your strengths to reach the people that can be and or are willing to be reached. So if they're asleep and they don't want to wake up, then all right, best of luck. I can still be friends with you. I can still like you. We can still be friends, colleagues, family members, whatever. It doesn't count you out as a person in my life, but it would be cool if you maybe, took your head out of the sand there, ostrich. Somebody said you can't wake up a dead bird. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Do you believe illegal imms should leave? I'm a daughter of an immigrant and having some guilt because I'm learning the values of our country. Do I think illegal immigrants should leave? I mean, that's a loaded question. I mean, my short answer would be yes, I guess, but I mean, let me see if I can rephrase it. Okay. I go to a lot of music festivals. I love music festivals, specifically dance music festivals. A lot of people at music festivals are bamboozled to the gills. Not all of them. It's not the stereotype is not always true. But sometimes when you go to the porta potty area, back when I was buying GA tickets almost every single time, I got used to going to the GA porta potties. And there was a lot of people there that didn't know what planet they were on. And they like being in a line. And there's a long line of people in line for the porta potty. And there's this huge row of porta potties. There's like 60, 70 porta potties all in this big bank. And anybody that was a veteran festival goer like myself would just walk by the line and go to the back of the porta potty bank because nobody made their way all the way to the back. They just saw the line and they assumed that everybody knew that everybody was in line. So it's like, if you ask the question like, should you skip the line? No, you shouldn't skip a line for a porta potty. But if everybody's in space and if everybody's gazing out to the third ring of Saturn, then it's like sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, generally speaking, being an illegal immigrant, I think, is not a good thing. But a lot of illegal immigrants have come to America and loved it more than citizens of America itself. So I don't think you should leave if there's all these people pouring over the freaking Rio Grande, swimming it like they're what's her face, like they're Leah Thomas swimming over the Rio Grande to get in, and they just somersault onto the soil, and then they're like, here's a phone, you get a house, move to LA, like here's a high rise in Manhattan. I don't think you should leave. I do think that you should pursue a legal path to citizenship. And I think that there's more, if there was ever a time to do it, now's the time. You could basically fart, in Odessa, Texas, and just be like, oppression. You could be like, I'm from Saturn, and they, the government was out to get me, and they'd be like, okay. So I would just say pursue a legal path to citizenship and contribute as much as you can to this country and tell people why it's great. But I don't think you should feel guilty and leave. I don't think you should tell people to come illegally. We have ports of entry for that. Angie Banana says, what do you think is to come in terms of our government in the next presidential election? What do I think is to come? Well, I try not to go too far into the realm of predictions because, I think that it's kind of almost a pointless exercise sometimes, but I'm going to say that I, like you probably, am trying to spread the word of freedom and fiscal conservatism and hopefully the value of the nuclear family and a variety of other things. And hopefully you're out there broadcasting a good message back to the world. What's going to happen? I have no idea. It's hard to say, and I don't know. I thought, if you asked me in September of 2020, I was like, Donnie's going to win. I was for sure about all these things, and none of them came true. So I don't know anymore. So I don't guess. I try not to guess too much about the predictions. Somebody said, because I'm not a queefing on you. What do you think is controlled op in the Patriot movement? Controlled op. I don't know. That's tough. I think that one thing that kind of, I don't want to say it bothers me, but I think is in some ways disconnecting certain people is and I get it, I really do, but I think that people bring religion into the conversation more than it needs to be in the conversation. And I think that religion tends to have this aspect of in the political discourse where it's on the right, they'll be Christian, Christian values, whatever, and they talk about this basis in Christian values all the time. And then people from the Shapiro, Dennis Prager ilk, they're kind of talking more about the Israel Jewish connection and all of the values there. And then like on the left, you have like the no religion and how like I don't subscribe to your religion. And I think that the religion gets involved in the mix a little bit more than it has to. And I think that when we're talking about like objective policies that will help the world operate better with all these different differentiating views of belief and faith, I think that it can cloud and gum up the conversation more often than it should. And I think that, you know, people on the right that maybe believe in and have faith in some higher being and maybe are somewhat religious or whatever, it's like when every single thing is just like, you know, it's in the Bible. It's like, I get it, but any person that's like not overly religious or not that in, it's like it disconnects them from the right, the conservatism side of things when they're just like, why is it religion? And religious people get very upset and they get really worked up when you say stuff like that. And like that to me represents another problem. It's like if you get highly emotional as a result of anything, and, you know, I fall victim to it too. No one's perfect, but it's like, I think that that is one of those things that gums up the conversation a little bit more than it needs to. So I think that that's kind of like, you know, I just feel like that is a, it's like it always comes, it comes back to that a lot. You know, it's like some people, it's like, could you be an atheist and believe in conservative values? Like, I would say you could, you know, because there's different times I think in a lot of people's life where they may not believe in any religion at all. And I don't think that that means that you're not conservative. And I think a lot of these things are just labels that are unnecessary. And I think, and Ye had said something about this where he's just like, the race is just like this illusion, like this way to divide us from each other, from human beings. And I know a lot of people feel sour about him, you know, for whatever reason, bothers them specifically. But, you know, it's like, would your average person wake up in the morning and be like, race? Would you even think about that? You wouldn't. You know, the vast majority of people in modern society, race plays no role in their life. And I know people are like, this white guys. It's like, I would wager that the vast majority of people of all colors don't think about race nearly as much as they are forced to now by intentional design to separate us from each other. You know, I would say that 95% of all people living on the planet could care less what background you have, what skin color you have. Nobody cares about that. They just want you to care about that because it creates this rift and divide between the people that should otherwise be united. It's like we're all paying out the nose for eggs. We're all becoming victims of crime. But they're just like, no, black men, you know, and they're just like this specific marginalized group. It's just a way of dividing us all from the one human family. Because if they didn't do that, we would all realize how interconnected and one we are. And that represents a threat to their power structure. So I would say it's like, do we need to box each other in as to you're this religion, you're right, your religion's right and my religion's wrong and all these things? It's like, oh, you're not a good Christian, you're not a good this, you're not a good that. And it's like, yo, can we all just tune in? Eggs are $50,000 an egg, you know? Can we all just like maybe like bring it down? I just feel like that's, you know what I mean? Because like there's a hell of a viewpoint to say that organized religion has caused the most death of anything in the world. And that's just facts. So it's like, I'm not here to say religion's bad, but facts are facts. So, you know, it's like, if you don't want to face the reality of the other side of that coin, then could we all just, you know, a lot of people did a lot of bad things that were associated with some religious group or sect at some point in time. As early as 10 years ago and probably right now. So it's like, could we all just, you know what I mean? Like, it's not too long ago that freaking the theoretically the most holy man in, you know, the Roman, he's like, you should give all your extra Christmas money to Zelensky. That's what he said. I didn't make that up. I'm just saying that's what he said. He's like, give your money to Zelensky. So it's like, do I really need this guy to be my conduit to the higher power? This dude? Why? Because he You know what I'm saying? I just feel like a lot of life is an illusion, and I just think when it all hashes out, are you gonna be like, "What would this?" No, it's just you and your creator, whether you believe it looks like X, Y, or Z. So you know what I'm saying? And I know people are asking questions like, "Who are you talking about?" I just try not to say the words. It's very specific. I try not to narrow in because, you know. Somebody said, how much did the owner of the CT take on their fire? I don't know what that means. Thanks, the Megan Hayward, for the question. Appreciate that. I just read your question, Megan. I was telling her some different ways to grow her channel the other day, and she said it's been growing every day since, which is rad. Somebody said communism took more lives. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Has it? Probably, but I don't know. I think it's a gray area. Okay, it has maybe. All right, yeah, whatever. Either way, they're both. It's both like you can label either of them as good or bad. Simmons Farm said, curious what your day job is. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an internet entrepreneur. I invest in websites. I buy websites. Outraged Teen said, who is Megan? She's a human person in the chat on Instagram. People are talking about the Connecticut chicken fire. Yeah, I mean, what's happening with the chickens and the eggs and stuff to me is suspect. It's one of the best and least expensive sources of good quality protein, and it's just getting mysteriously clapped. So to me, it's just not. I think that there's something suspect to be said about it. Somebody said, so Donnie is coming home, or is he our real president? I don't really know what that means. By our real president, I would say no, he is not our real president. And by coming home, I don't know what you mean by coming home. I guess becoming the president. I think that remains to be seen. Amy said, would you invest in a single unjuiced dating site? No, I would not. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of good business ideas out there, but what you're talking about is a feature, not a product. And what I mean by that, after watching a lot of Shark Tank, this is how I can explain it. If your website or if your product is a feature that could be enabled by another business that does the same thing, then there's no value to it because it's a feature, not a product. If another one of the let's say that you started an unjuiced dating site, let's just say. And let's say you got it up to millions and millions of visitors, and it was starting to cook, really starting to make money. Any of the other apps, Bumble or Tinder or whatever else, could just have a feature that says, check here if you're juiced or not juiced, and if you want to see people that are juiced or not juiced. And just like that, your app is worthless. So to me, it's a feature, not a product. So I would not invest in that website, nor would I build it if I was you. And I understand that those apps don't allow for that, but they do have places where you can indicate whether you are or you aren't, and you could search based on that term already. So to me, that already exists, and I wouldn't waste your time. One guy on TikTok says, I'm so bored. Yeah, there's a funny thing in the corner of the thing. It's just the X. You could just click the X and leave the chat. No one's making you be here, so just leave. No one would care. Especially not me. His name is Larry. It's funny. Do I think Joey Fart is going to send our troops to the Crane soon? I would wager that they're already actually there. And yes, I would wager that they are. People lie anyways, so you can't trust if they're juiced or not. Yeah, well, people are gonna lie about everything. You're just gonna have to feel that one out. If you hang out with them and they have crane flag in bio, then yeah, maybe don't trust them. But yeah. Unjuiced transfusion site would be awesome. Yep, sure. I don't disagree with you there. So Larry keeps complaining on TikTok, so I'm just gonna do him a favor and block him forever. So bye, Larry. See you later. Can't wait to never see you again. He's like, I'm bored. It's like, cool. I'll block you forever then. You'll never be bored again. It's funny, when I first created a social media account, I was like, I'm just gonna let everybody, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I started realizing I don't care. I owe you nothing. So if somebody's gonna zip me in the comments, it's like, boop, peace forever. Don't care. Like, ask me if I care. I'll tell you, I don't care. So yeah, nope, don't care. Larry's banned forever. Could care less. If he was to send me an email and be like, please unban me, I'd consider it. And I probably would. But for now, deuces, Larry. Like, enjoy the meatloaf. Don't care. Literally could care less. So yeah, do not care. Can't wait to never see you again, Lair. Thanks, Sean, on Facebook. Sean said, shout out to Sauce. Everyone show support for this guy. How can you not? Who's got ideas to broaden his traffic? Man is a comedic genius. That's very nice. Thank you, Sean. Really appreciate that. Larry eats bugs. Highly probable. Highly probabilidad. Larry is throttling a mealworm salad right now. Actually, no. I saw his profile picture. A mealworm burger. Did I read the Fair Tax Act? I don't know. No. The new one? No, not yet. I have not read it yet. So, he said, how can you not? How can you broaden his traffic? Grab some merch. Go to bobbysauce.com. Grab some merch. Any more comedy shows coming out outside of Florida? I am working on one in March in Atlantic City and Staten Island, but it's not official yet. Connor says, my girlfriend loves your thoughts. Thank you, Connor. Somebody said, spare parts aren't you, bud, on TikTok. Love that. Throwback. Megan says, Larry is enjoying his soy meatloaf from his mom in the basement. Extremely true. Somebody said on TikTok, are you ready for the crash of the dollar? Buy silver and Bitcoin stat. Absolutely not. I will not be purchasing any Bitcoin. Bitcoin is garbage in my humble opinion. I will never purchase any Bitcoin ever again unless I feel like it's some easy cash pullout. I would not invest in Bitcoin. I don't suggest people invest in Bitcoin. I don't like Bitcoin. It's not my thing. I think it's based on nothing. I think it has no objective value other than selling it to the greater fool. I personally do not believe in it. I think that it's good as a decentralized currency. I think it opens up a lot of doors for a lot of things to exist. I think Ethereum and a variety of other cryptocurrencies certainly have a place in society. I believe the blockchain is here to stay, but I am not an investor in Bitcoin. I bought some years ago. I made money on it, but I don't like it. I think it's based on nothing. The value is subjective, and I don't like it. I like investing in real businesses that produce cash flow. Somebody said, where else are you streaming? Right now, I'm streaming on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Getter. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Getter, and Twitch. Larry loves Bitcoin. Larry is a Bitcoin. Eric said, any shows in Jacksonville? No, not anytime soon. I got to work on that, but hopefully. I think chicken is now more expensive than Bitcoin. Highly probable. I did have an article in my notes here that said that it's now more expensive to drive certain electric cars than certain gas cars, which is really interesting. You love to see it. They're like, I'm better than you. I'm going to plug in and use coal to get to work. It's like, okay. Congrats. Congerts, I guess. Jeff said, I really enjoy your posts and I share the hell out of them. Appreciate that, Jeff. Thank you so much. Greetings from the dead state of California. Yeah, best of luck with that. I'd highly suggest you skedad from there. The flavor of eggs changed for me in 2020. Somebody said, what platform has the most followers for you? Instagram. I have almost 153,000 on Instagram, 107,000 on TikTok, 44,000 on Facebook, 16,300 on Getter, 300 or so on Truth Social, which I don't really use anymore, and about 1,400 on Twitter. Bobby, how come you and Kirk and Benny don't even mention Biden's earlobes? Well, I can't speak for Charlie Kirk or for Benny Johnson. Their accounts are much bigger than mine. I've met them in person for a second, but it's not like I communicate with them. Why have we not talked about Biden's earlobes? Because I don't care about Biden's earlobes. Don't care. That's why. Because I don't care. Because I don't think that Joe Biden is a clone in a meat suit. Maybe he is. Honestly, maybe he is. But if he is, me noticing that he is irrelevant. It's like gematria. Oh, if you take Biden and multiply it by 3, B plus I plus D, D is the fourth letter, subtracted by 1, upside down, Starlink. Donnie is a time-traveling robot from he was friends with Nikola Tesla's uncle. He lived in a pineapple under the sea. I don't care. I don't care about his earlobes. Videos can be altered and doctored. Maybe he's wearing a meat suit. Maybe he just got a what is it called? There's like a face surgery, a facelift. Maybe he got a facelift and it affects your earlobes. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Who cares? Is he a meat bag? Yeah, maybe. But they're sending tanks to the crane. You know, that's the objective fact. Tanks are going to the crane. Who cares about his earlobes? Have you seen, like, I get it, but like, no, dude. Is Damar Hamlin a clone? I don't care. Other than the joke of it, I don't care. I hope he is a clone because that would be awesome. If you could just have clones of professional athletes just on deck, you know? It's like, you know how many professional athletes there are? Why Damar Hamlin? They're like, make him a clone. Like he's just like sitting in like a meat shell, like Austin Powers, like in a waiting. They're like, release the Hamlin. No. And what's the big reveal? You're telling me that we have the technology to clone a person to the exact age, look, and appearance? That person would have to age with him at any time. So it's like, oh, he cut his hair this way. He got a new tattoo it there. And then they're showing this picture or this video of his arm. There's light on his arm. The tattoo is black. It's black on brown skin. If you shine the light on a dark arm fading the other way on a video, it's like they could have put a platypus on his arm. You don't know what's real anymore. Have you ever watched TikTok videos? There's these girls that are like stacked. They look like they should be on the cover of a magazine, and then they like turn the filter on. They look like they just somersaulted out of Hunter Biden's window. It's just like, oh, hello, nothing is real. They're like, he's a clown. Who cares? It's like, stop smoking that weeble wobble. Somebody said on TikTok, do you care about the insurrection? Maybe if it was an actual insurrection, then I would care about it. Yeah, but no, the answer is no. What's an insurrection? A bunch of people with no weapons protesting and 100 idiots that smashed glass, many of which are low IQ and got coerced into it by agitators in the crowd? No, I don't care about an insurrection because it's not real. And if you actually saw the reality of what occurred on the ground, you would understand that you're looking at it through a doctored lens. Yeah, there was 100 idiots there that did really dumb things. And then there was 150,000 great American patriots and citizens that didn't do anything wrong. You want to call that an insurrection, but you want to call what happened in Portland what? Protest? You know how many people got clapped because of garbage lives of BLM? Get your life together. Somebody said on Facebook asking about Elon Musk. I don't want to go too far into that because it's like that topic's been beaten around a million times. Somebody said get a dictionary. Okay, I'll get a dictionary. I'm sitting on a dictionary right now because I'm 4'1". What does that even mean? Oh, here come the sads on TikSnap. Is Portland the seat of government now? What? Did anything that happened did anything that happened in DC come anywhere close to what happened in Chaz Chop? It's like, you're going to compare this? You're going to compare these two things? You're clueless. They burned down a police station. They were occupied that space for weeks. But yeah. 100 idiots broke glass and walked around behind red velvet ropes and all went to prison for it. And there was like 500 people there committing crime after crime after crime after crime, burning down police stations, destroying lives and businesses, and getting clapped and committing all types of robberies and all types of horrible acts, aggressiveness towards women and whatnot. And you're like, what about this? It's like 4 hours long versus like 4 weeks long. But yeah, I guess call it an inciting an erection if you want. They're like, why? Goo. Goo. What is Chaz Chop? Look it up. Google it. Google Chaz Chop. Whataboutism is not a valid excuse. What's the whataboutism? What's the excuse? Definitely not as bad as trying to... Yeah, we got all the sads are in here. All right, TikTok, unleash the sads. Here they come. Donnie lives rent-free in my head. All I can think about is Donnie. Mom, the meatloaf. There were legitimate riots in 2016 in DC when Donnie won. Police cars were burned. Was that not an insurrection? That's correct, Eric. That is absolutely correct. Far more violence. Whataboutism? Too much sad boy energy on TikSnap. Too many sads. I'm sad. I'm upset. They're like, BRB, I got a spelling test tomorrow in 5th grade. They're like, well, don't you care about the insurrection? It's like, isn't it bedtime? No. My mom lets me stay up late. It's like, yo, heads up. What's her face? Kim Kardashian's 9-year-old daughter is on TikTok. It's like, you're telling me there's not some 13-year-olds in the chat, you know? It's like they're old in relation, you know? If I was 14, I'd be on TikSnap too, and I'd be like, ah! I'd be reciting all the same stuff that I saw on The Daily Show with frickin' what's-his-face, who used to be funny. Scraggly beard, gray scraggly beard. D.L. Hughley, a.k.a. D.L. Scragglington. He likes... He like somersaults out of his mansion, and he's like, I'm upset. I'm the host of The Daily Show. I'm scraggly. It's like, okay. I love how everybody on TikSnap that has like something spicy to say has like a profile photo of like an upside down poop emoji, or like a yellow duck, or a tree, or like a giraffe on rollerblades or something. And their username is like XX, I'm upset, I'm hurting inside. Oh. It's like, what's wrong? User 5176775. It's like, what are you? They're like, I'm a bot in Taiwan. They got some AI that's like reading all the CNN headlines and then just regurging out like hate talking points. Yeah, all the sads are here. They're like, Orange Man lost. Get over it, crybaby. As they're just like sad inside and crying at their house on TikSnap, like watching a grown man on their phone. They're like, ah. It's like, one of these things is not like the other. Thank you, Dana, on Facebook. Appreciate that. I'm not going to read it because it's a long comment, but it's very nice. Joe Biden wants to sniff your hair. Factualities. I'm a 69-year-old grandma. Love you, Sauce. As a youngster, give me hopes for the future. Thank you, Kara Lismer. Appreciate that. Listening to you is like listening to a new language that for some reason I just understand and love. Hell yeah. Everybody's tickling my grundle as it seems. As we get into as we near into hour 2, it's just like the grundle tickling begins. I'm here for it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the kind words. Lots of laughs. Sad people on TikSnap are zoodling. They bring the gallows. Oh, gallows. You mean the 2x4s from Home Depot that somebody brought it? It's like, think about it. If I wanted to go to a Joe Byron, think about this. It's like there's 250,000 people at a Joe Byron rally. I erect a fake gallows using 2x4s that I got on Home Depot. Me and my jabroni friends buy a Biden hat at the table sitting in the middle of the street. We wear the Biden hat, we bring it out into the middle of the thing, we take a picture of it, and then we send it around the world. And then everyone's like, gallows at the Byron rally. You're brainwashed, dog. Tune in. Like, are you that clueless? There's 300,000 people and there's one idiot that brings a couple of 2x4s from Home Depot there, and then you're going to run that around as your excuse for why this thing was so bad for the next 2.5 years. Tune into the planet, dude. This is not about Donnie. That was 2x4s from Home Depot that some idiot put there for a photo op that got used to smear this guy. I would wager 99 times out of 100 that was somebody that did that intentionally. So people be like, there was a gallows. It's like, you're dumb. Don't you think somebody could have bought a bunch of rope and put the rope up in the tree and been like, look, noose is at the top. It's like, how clueless are you? There was one that some idiot put there. Hello, there was 3-letter organization operatives all over the place. How simple would it be to be like, yo, let's get some dude to go to the depot and grab a couple 2x4s, and then we'll wheel it out into the thing, take 77 pictures of it, and then send them to CNN. It's like, are you clueless? Yeah, they really thought they were going to bring Mike Pence out there and put him up on this 2x4. Are you insane? Like, dude, you gotta wake up. One of the most heavily surveilled buildings in the entire world is that building. And they suppose that somebody planted a pipe bomb and they had a video of them, but they showed us the back of the person instead of the front of the person. Every single road tracking into that place and every single cell phone tower and every piece of cell phone data, height, weight, everything. Description of that person could have been plastered across the media. If that supposed pipe bomber was actually a real person and not a fake Fed boy, we would have found him 700 times by now. Literally wake up. You're so mixed up in a dream world of magic. You're like so hung up on like the bad orange man that you can't even see the most basic of things right in front of your face. They sent 10 feds to investigate a rope in a NASCAR garage, but there's a guy that was supposedly planting pipe bombs in front of the DNC, and they haven't found him 2.5 years later. Are you literally on this earth? Like, dude, what is wrong with you? Hello? You don't think that there's something sus about that? Oh, no, they're telling us the truth. Just like the mysterious air poison. Oh, don't go to the grocery store or you'll be in it's going to be a severe winter of illness and death. As soon as you get the mysterious potion from the mysterious company that is only to be trusted, the poison stops, says Rachel Maddow as she somersaults into a pile of $30 million a year, being paid by some nefarious actor that wants you to get heart juice and get clapped at 35. Oops, ooh, I'm healthy. Gagak. And they're just like, they're like, Depop is not real. It's like, isn't it? But whatever. It's not a big deal. They were trying to stop the selection. It's like, were they? They did a really good job of that. How'd they do it? Did they have any vehicles, arms, literally anything? No. Oh, what did they open? Did they open 20,000 pound doors that are sealed by magnets that can only be opened from the inside in one of the most secure buildings in the entire planet? Oh, did they do that? Oh, how'd they do it? Oh, they just broke a window and got in. Oh, okay. Sure. That's believable, but all right. Oh, what are you supporting? You supporting an erection? It's like, dude, are you literally here? There was a protest at that exact same building months prior where there was like thousands upon thousands of armed guards out there. How many were there that day? What, 24? And then they put him on Clown News Network, and it was some scraggly scrumbleberry that cried on the stand with Kinzinger. And he's like, he's like, got any spare change? Send it to Prezzy's sweatshirt. He deserves it. And then people are like, gallows. It's like, who hurt you? Tune in. Get out of the right-left paradigm and just realize it's like, you got real life, and then you got all this other fake stuff. But okay. But they're so hung up on it. It's like a person made an unprecedented release of a Supreme Court draft, what, a year ago now almost? 6 months, 7, 8 months ago? There's only like 83 people that it could have been. You tell me they don't know who released that Supreme Court draft? Of course they know, but they don't tell you. Because you're living in a dream world of upside down magic where Donnie is running on a treadmill in your brain, and you can't disconnect yourself from the fact that you're so bamboozled by Slow Byron and the gang that you think that you live in this like woke ideological heaven, which is really a tyrannical hellscape in a biomedical security state where eggs are $1,000 an egg, and you're just like, but Joe's so friendly. He bounces me on his knee and he shoves a Werther's Original into my brown eye and tells me it's going to be okay, and sniffs my hair and showers with his daughter. He's orange and bad and orange. It's like, okay, got it. But yeah, okay. Do you think it was no big deal? Yeah. Bunch of people with no weapons. What a threat. Okay. But yeah. The sads come out. The sads like somersault out of a bush at the end of the live streams on TikSnap. They're just like, but what about? They're like Joe. There's this one creator on TikTok that I just love, and he's like, Joe shook my hand. It's just like, Joe doesn't remember what he had for lunch. He's like, Joe. Here's a video of Joe. He's like, Joe's a nice guy. It's like, oh, okay. You mean the 4 seconds that like his lifeless meat body was like puppeteered around in front of you? Like, he's nice. It's like, nah, bro. Somebody said, I'll never eat a Werther's Original again. You probably shouldn't, because soon it's going to have the juice in it. It's going to have that poison in it. I love on TikSnap when a new person follows me and it'll be like, this person followed the host. It's just like, excellent. What did I get him on the showers with the daughter? So big ups to David Warren for following me on TikSnap. Thank you, Kathy, on Instagram. Appreciate it. Yo, somebody said they wanted Donnie's taxes for years, and then they got him, and no one cared. Yeah, exactly. Look, he lost money. It's like, oh, that actually sounds good, but all right. They're like, but it's like... There's just no convincing some people. They're living in an actual dream world of actual upside down magic. And it's like, whom hurt you? Donde está tu padre, you know? It's like literally donde. Like literally donde está, like whom hurt you? Somebody said that Pauly P phantom door open though. Yeah. The door just opened itself. They're like, I was watching like a supposedly conservative, whatever, video reaction to it from I think it was The Blaze today, and they're like, seems fine, you know, this kind of exonerates him, doesn't seem too nefarious. And I'm like, why does he have a drink in his hand? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, let me just let me just like slide one slowly up from the front of your grundle to the back real quick, because last time I was in a home invasion, I wasn't like, can I have a glass of iced tea? You know, let me get a vodka soda. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you in your underwear? Why are you carrying a vodka soda? Why are you holding the hammer like that? And I heard these guys on Blaze today being like, oh, clearly they were fighting over the hammer. It's like, my guy. It's like, you got 80-year-old Paulie Walnuts. You're telling me that an able-bodied 30-something-year-old man can't wrestle a hammer out of the hands of an 80-year-old man? What? If me and Paulie Walnuts were fighting over a hammer, it would take literally 1 second. I'd be like, hammer's mine. What would you elbow? You just throw him with an elbow real quick. Bow to the side of the head. You're done. Boom. Hammer's mine. It's like, are you stupid? I'm just saying. They're like, oh, they were just fighting over the hammer. Fighting over the hammer? The guy's 80 years old. They didn't look to be fighting when the door opened. Wouldn't you have like heard him fighting? You know what I'm saying? It's so suspect. They're like, oh, this is fine. Look, he's breaking in the back door. It's like, that proves nothing to me. That proves nothing to me. If you were a person that was writing the script of this psyop, you'd be like, all right, as long as we got a video of him breaking in the back door, then everything's cool. It's like, don't ask why he's in his underwear. Don't ask why that call is super zany in Zanzibar. Don't connect the dots of this guy got arrested for a DUI like a month ago. Kind of sus. You got $100 million and you're out here driving drunk. I think the guy's maybe got a screw loose. I'm just saying. It's like you're a literal dirt merchant, demon, insider trading demon merchant who's married to like the heaviest bags in the West. It's like, I'm good, but like tickle me Elmo, but pretty sure this guy's like maybe taking a trip to Saturn. I'm just saying, like, maybe not gonna just believe what it is because there's a video of some guy smashing some window. Yeah, maybe, but why? Like, literally why? Like, please, like, can a police officer please weigh in? Have you ever been to a home invasion where the guys are like, hold on, hi there, what are you? The cops are like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? The cops got a taser, they got a gun, they know they're there on a home invasion. You got the home of the Speaker of the House, the third in line to the presidency, the third most surveilled person probably on the literal planet of literal Earth, and a guy for 5 minutes is smashing in his back window. You're telling me somebody didn't hear that? You're telling me there weren't cops on the site? On site? Why? Why were they not on site right there that moment? You got $100 million. $100 million. $100 million. You're telling me you can't have an armed security guard at the cradle? You can't have somebody at the very least watch the security footage? There's a guy outside your house. You're being surveilled literally by supposedly the highest across the country, and they can't see a guy hammering the window in, and then the cops show up like 10 minutes later, and they're casually walking up to the front door. Did you see them look in the window? Did you see them like ding, 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 and like peer in the window? No, they stood on the front stoop like they were there. They were to pick up an orange juice. And it's like, yeah, it all seems fine. He broke in the. It's like, that shit's suspect. I feel like I got more unanswered questions than I had before. It's like, to me, it solves literally nothing. There's no explanation to me. There's no explanation to me that makes any sense other than it's like they were not really like fighting. I don't buy that. I don't know that he picked him up at studio, what's it called? Studio 69 or whatever. I don't know that happened, but it's like, to me, there's a lot to the story that it remains to be seen. And to me, it's so sus and I just believe nothing. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another dude behind the door, but whatever. Nance is the third in line for the president. Yeah, she was before. Now it's Kevin McCarthy. Oh, what up, guys? He's like, hey. They're like, what's occurring, you know? I don't know. To me, it's just suspect. I think there's more questions than there are answers, but whatever. They're like, is this Uber Eats? Oh, I see a couple people bought orders on BobbySauce.com since I was on here. That's what's up. America First shirt going to Rhode Island. That's what's up. I see another one. Somebody left me a tip. Whoa. Thank you, Jill, for the tip on BobbySauce.com. Wow. I don't know if Jill is still here, but wow, Jill, thank you so much. That is very generous. Jill left a very nice donation, tip on BobbySauce.com. Thank you so much, Jill. Really appreciate that. It's very nice. Thank you. Their justification is that the security detail follows her specifically. Yeah, but you got $100 million. You have $100 million. It's like, pretty sure you could have ADT watch the video footage. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's smashing your window in, there's a lot of security systems that can check for that. Like I have a Ring camera that detects motion and will give me a push notification if there's motion. You're telling me that there's not a motion alert at that back window? Like, come on, guys. Are you guys like living in a dream world of magic? I have like, there'll be a cat dropping a deuce on my front driveway in the grass. And like, I'll get a push notification from Ring that'll be like, there's a cat dropping heat in your front yard. And I'll see it like this. And I'll have like, you know what I mean? I don't have like the highest grade security in the world or $100 million. But I can get a push notification of a cat taking a poop in my front lawn. But there's a guy literally smashing your window in for 5 minutes and nobody even notices. Like, dude. I guess, but sure. Like, let's just believe it because I saw the footage of the back window on CNN. It's like, dude. Yeah, it's just suspect. It's like, to me, it's so sus. But it's like, yeah, if you want to believe the official narrative, like, I don't buy it, Jim. But yeah, if you want to believe it, then, you know, good for you, I guess. Somebody said, are there lots of trolls here? I don't know, probably. But I don't even care. I do find it funny, though. I like when the people troll. Because if they go over the line, I just block them. What time is it? 10:30? Somebody on Facebook says, my doors or windows open or get smashed, alarms go off, and the cops show up. Yeah. Like, yeah, like you could get a $30 subscription to ADT, and that would happen. You would get a phone call. I'd be like, you good? And people are like, nah, Paul was just minding his own business in his undergarments. And he's like, what's going on here? It's like, okay. Yeah, somebody's talking about what happened in Vegas. Yeah, what happened in Vegas, you know? It's like, oh, can I bring up 75 suitcases that weigh 1,000 pounds apiece? And they're just like scattered everywhere as opposed to just lined up by the window, but okay. It's like there's only so many spent shells in the room, but there's all these like weapons found all over the Vegas Strip that night, like abandoned weapons. It's like, yeah, it's just one guy. Okay. Sure it was. Answering the front door in boxers with a cocktail. Exactly. It's like, okay. Somebody said he owed that dude money for favors rendered. That hit was personal. I think that it's highly probable, like I've said before, I think it's highly probable that they already knew each other. I think that they've interacted at some way in the past. And to me, it just seemed too good. Because it's bold to, like, if you go to that length, if you, like, want to attack Pelosi, it's like, you're not even going to know she's not even there. It's like, I don't know, man. I really just don't buy that. It's like, somebody said what you think doesn't really matter. Okay, well, cool. Last time I checked, all these people were here because whatever I think does matter. So just because you don't think it matters, feel free to depart the chat because nobody cares if you do. But thank you for your comment. No one cares. It's like, all right, well, last time I checked, 250 people care. But all right, yeah, I guess nobody cares. Somebody says DePoop and Pauly P sent passionate letters, and Joe Slow Byron has them. That's funny. I thought he said my friend on the phone with the cops. Yeah, it probably did. He's like, my friend is here. He's looking for my wife. I love when people get spicy on TikSnap. It's just like, bro, like, Your paper is due at 9 a.m. tomorrow. You better finish that up before you got class tomorrow. Somebody says, I was at Route 91. What was your take on the outside shoot? There's a really great documentary on BitChute. It's called Route 91 Truth or something like that. A great watch. I would highly recommend you watch it. It's a really good documentary on the Route 91. It was really, really, really good. Somebody was trying to troll me on TikSnap, and they're like, there's only 61 people here and dropping. And it's like, okay, well, there's 68 now, and there's also 5 other networks I'm on, but okay. But you're here, but feel free to drop. If you want to leave, then we'll go down to 62, and I'm fine with that. And just never come back ever again. I'd be fine with that, too. Yeah, Mindy Robinson. Mindy Robinson's awesome. She's like my favorite person to follow on Facebook now. It's so funny. Whenever I go to like a super woke comment thread on Facebook, Mindy Robinson is like at the top, blue check on almost every single one of them, like leaving some spicy comment. I love it so much. She's got the spiciest responses. It's the best. Thank you to the roses on TikSnap. Appreciate that. Somebody says, I was in Vegas. There was more than one guy. Yep, that's a commonly repeated thread. Thank you, Funny J3, for all the roses. Appreciate that. Don't know what the roses do, but appreciate you sending them. I guess they're a couple pennies or $1 or whatever. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the gifts. Yeah. Mindy Robinson is the fire, an American treasure. Nice, that's what's up. There's pretty funny comments on Facebook and YouTube. Ron says, you remind me a lot of Chris Sky. Keep raising awareness. Appreciate that. Chris Sky is pretty cool. He's done a lot of good things for the people. What up, A Marked Life? I've been here for over 2 hours. Jen of All Trades says, that was a cool gift. Did I see it? The Dancing Atom? No, I didn't see it. Sorry. I was zoodling. Thank you for the badge, Melly Torres MMA. Appreciate that. Thanks for the badges on Instagram. Much appreciated. So I've been here for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Anybody got any questions or any other things before I go? I'll talk about a couple more things before we rip. A lot of people saying they like Chris Sky. Yep. Sauce is the best. I share all your videos. Thank you, Patriot Girl. Appreciate that. Can you explain critical race theory? Can I explain it? No, I don't. What do you need me to explain it for? You know what it is. Just look it up. I have another question in my question box. Okay. Megan said, if I could scout some venues in the Boise area, would you and Chad want to do a show here? Chad is actually booked for lots of different shows, but I would certainly be down for it for sure. I'd have to run it by him, but I would be down. I don't know how you can wear those headphones for so long. Yeah, my ears kind of hurt, but I do like hearing how on point I am on the mic. It does keep me to the mic. So I think it's beneficial, generally speaking. Do you know anything about the Faisal deal with Project Veritas? Yeah, I've talked about that pretty extensively, so yes, I do. But I mean, if the proof is in the video, you can watch it yourself. I think it's very clear. Someone said CRT is awful. Yeah, I mean, it's basically teaching revisionist history to teach you more that the color of your skin matters and you're bad and evil because of, you know, how much melanin you have or whatever. So generally speaking, I just don't think it's good. I think it's revisionist history that they say is supposedly the real history. I don't know about you guys, but when I went to school in America, we learned about slavery and all of those other things. We learned about all of those. It's not like they were like, nope, the whites are perfect. Like, we learned about lots of really bad things. So I don't know. It's like, I don't know that there was something that I was supposedly missing, but there's a lot of things that are not there, but there's a lot of schooling that's bad. But like teaching a kid to diddle another pen 15, it's like, dude, we really need to be doing that. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of, and they sneak it in. It's kind of like, imagine if I, it's like, imagine if Republicans, or imagine if the conservative right had a course called Loving America, right? And it was an AP course called Loving America, or let's say it was AP Civics. And in AP Civics, in the last chapter, it teaches you that every leftist is like a demon serpent from the underworld. It's like the left would be like, this AP Civics class has nothing to do with civics. They're just putting their political ideology. And then the right was like, oh, they hate America because they don't like AP Civics. They're anti-American. It's like, no, just this thing doesn't have to do with that thing. So they like shoved all this weird stuff underneath this AP whatever class, and then they use that as the headline. Like, Santa Claus wants to ban, Black history. It's like, dude, you're just easily brainwashed and manipulated. Jen said Gen X did a great job of squashing racism, and unfortunate that it's back. It's a lot of times it's back because it's being artificially coerced by the media to be prominent and prevalent in every and all conversations where it's not. Somebody with a communist literally in their handle just goes, How long do you keep your head in the microwave before you start your live? 10 minutes and you're blocked. And see you never again. Can't wait to never see you again. But thanks for making the comment. It's like, who hurt you? You know what I mean? But here's the thing. If you make a comment like that, it's like, kind of feels like you might have put your head in the microwave. But who even suggests that, Somebody said no reparations until the Native Americans get theirs. Dude, the whole reparation concept is just preposterous. It's a tall glass of preposterone, but yeah. All right. We're coming up on 2 hours and 12 mins. To Santa Claus. Yeah. All right. I'm going to slide. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you everybody on Instagram for the badges. Oh snap! We got Mega Garbaggio in the chat. That's what's up. Yo, that's what's up. Mega Garbaggio sharing the literal best content on Instagram, bar none. Thanks to everybody about the badges on Instagram. Melly Torres, MMA, Nutrition with Vita, Lisa Mastro, McMoonerson, Don Morin, Christy, PIWO, Baptized, Jen, Lisa 80, Jim Jeffrey 69, and SPR DLV. Appreciate the badges on the gram. Appreciate it. I see my buddy Alex Khan in the chat. What up, Alex Khan? I know that Alex disagrees with me on some political stuff, but I appreciate that he's watching. Maybe he likes some of the things I'm saying. I don't know, but I appreciate it. So I appreciate you watching, bro. Thanks for being here. Hopefully it's not out of anger, but whatever. I guess we'll find out. But I appreciate the open-mindedness nonetheless. Thank you, Reinventing Carol. Somebody said on TikTok, love that my comments get removed. I'm not removing your comments. I don't have time to remove comments. I also don't even know how to do that on TikSnap. But if you're a garbage merchant, I will ban you, and you are still here, so you've not been banned. Hey, what's up? Alex in the chat. That's what's up. Nice to see you, man. Somebody said hello from Clearwater. I would highly suggest that anybody that's here go and watch the beginning of the thread. Watch the beginning of the video. The first hour was spicy, Bill. Got pretty spicy. So a lot of good stuff on there. A lot of crispity, crackly, good times on there. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you. Go to bobbysauce.com to support the channel. Do me a favor when you get off, if you can. Go to bobbysauceshow.com and leave a review. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on all the socials. You go to followbobby.com. All my links are there. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Getter, all that stuff. Please go follow me everywhere, especially YouTube. BobbySauceShow.com. Leave a review. Really appreciate it. This entire show will be available on my Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Getter forever, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are played. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Till next time. Instagram, thanks for coming. Much love. I will see you tomorrow. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. See you